Hey, hi, hello there, amateurs. Today we are talking about the first week, or more specifically, as it's the first week of the new season. What can we expect from this season? Can we be excited? Are we going to be surprised? There's so much newness. What can we know? What can we expect? How many questions do I have? Well, I have at least 15 questions because I have 15 things that I've been wondering about, and today we'll be discussing those. So get ready because we are talking 2025 season. The race is upon us. It's this Sunday and we are go. So let's kick off with the fact that we have so many rookies on the grid. How are they going to get on? How are they going to prove themselves? Are they going to keep their seats? Will other teams try to snatch them up? Is it over for them after 2025? Will we have a new drivers' champion amongst the rookies? Who will be the rookie of the year? It's all to play for. We have Bortoleto, we have Antonelli, we have Behrman, we have Hadjar, we have Doohan, and we, I guess, can count Lawson, but maybe not. We can see how everyone gets on this year, and perhaps we'll lose some at the end of the year. Perhaps we'll lose them during the year. It looks a bit skeptical around Jack Doohan, and we'll talk about that later. How can the teams be good for these rookies when they are so mixed in terms of what the car can do for the driver and what the driver can do for the car? We'll have to wait and see. Next up, McLaren won Constructors in 2024. How are they going to stack up now? They look pretty impressive so far from testing, but testing could tell you everything and it could tell you nothing. It could be just a slight indicator. It could be the sign of the times. It could be just something that we're looking through rosy glasses, and actually we are headed for, going from hero to zero. We don't know, but first race in Australia, our homeboy Oscar Piastri will prove himself. It looks like one of the boys could take the win for now, but who knows, maybe it won't happen. What will McLaren be able to show us? Many people are saying that the Melbourne track in Albert Park, it's going to show you how the teams stack up. It's sort of the indicator for how the year will pan out. There's rain expected to be on track. We have to see how it goes, but also, they have been given so much prize money. How have they used this prize money? Have they used it for the greater good? Have they not? We'll have to see. But McLaren so far looks to be the favourite to win this year again. Will a star emerge from McLaren? Will the Verstappen curse over Formula One end? We'll have to see. Now, earlier this week, we found out that Cadillac have officially been confirmed as the 11th team. We'll finally have 22 drivers on the track from next year. Obviously, that's next year. Why should we care now? Well, new regulations come in. The cars will look completely different. We might see new drivers on the track that we've never seen before, more rookies, or we might see the comeback of old drivers. Will Valtteri get a seat? Will we see Perez again? Maybe Magnussen comes back. He's the reserve for Haas now. He's basically swapped places with Ollie Behrman. What can we expect from Cadillac? They probably want an American driver alongside an experienced driver. That's what a lot of people have been saying. And if they've been saying this, Colton Herta seems to be the pick for the American side of things. Logan Sargent is probably not an option, but if he is the one to go to, he needs to make sure that he gets his points to get a super license. He doesn't have enough yet, but some say that also he might not really be interested in Formula One. He seems happy at IndyCar, but maybe that's just, him hiding the fact that, I might be considered to be in Formula One because, pinnacle of motorsport. Maybe, we can only assume that everyone wants to be in Formula One, but maybe some people just see it as, the worst thing that could ever happen to a driver in his career or her career. Perhaps we'll have a female driver. Who knows? It's everything to play for with a new team, so many unknowns, so much potential, but perhaps so much potential for disappointment just as well as excitement. The next question I have is, will we see Colapinto drive? Obviously he's doing Formula 2 right now because he didn't finish it last year because he was too busy being in Formula 1 temporarily when he replaced Sargent. But he's a reserve for Alpine, and as I said, Jack Doohan, he is the son of a motorbike legend, Mick Doohan, who was close friends with Michael Schumacher. They go way back, and Jack Doohan has all this potential coming from a racing background, coming from a racing family, but Colapinto is lingering around Alpine. Briatore really wants him to be there, but he also wants Doohan, apparently. But loads of people are not giving Doohan a lot of chances, and they're saying, watch your back because Colapinto could just snatch your seat up right from under you. What can we expect? Can we see Colapinto behind the wheel of an F1 car once again? Or is this just not his year? Just because he's a reserve does not mean that he doesn't have a chance. Anything could happen. Health can happen, life can happen, personal things happen. Perhaps you might get fired for whatever reason, too many crashes, not enough points. Who knows? We'll have to see. So by now we all know that Lewis Hamilton has joined Ferrari. We've known this since February 2024, and now he's there. He's loving it so far, but how long will this love affair last? Will he actually like it, or is this just him wearing rose-coloured glasses once again and just hoping for the best, but Ferrari lets him down just like it lets down a lot of its drivers? There's a reason why Charles Leclerc looks as depressed as he does oftentimes. He just has a permanent sad face ever since he's joined Ferrari, and he's been there for 6 years now, and he's there till 2029 at least. So how will they gel together? How will Hamilton gel with the team now that the season will start this week? Will it be good? Or will we be just him saying how terrible the car is, the team's letting him down, come on, we can do better than this, guys? It can go either way. And what do we know? Well, we know nothing at the moment, but from how Hamilton reacted to the Mercedes cars in the past, to how Charles reacts to Ferrari cars, how both of them get on with their old or current teams, might say something, it might say nothing. That's all to play for this season. It's a season of unpredictability until we see some progress, and maybe we'll see it on Sunday, maybe not. Are we going to be awake enough to notice? Who knows, depends where you are. Now the question on everyone's lips since testing has been, Williams looks good, doesn't it? In testing, they did really good. Carlos got the fastest time on the second day, so surely that might mean something. I mean, Ferrari came second in constructors, and Carlos Sainz also had the fastest lap times in racing in testing in 2024. Maybe this is a sign, maybe it's not, but can we be surprised now that we have this experience lineup? We don't have experience versus rookie brought in. Carlos knows how to drive a car, Albon knows how to drive a car, Carbono could be the pairing we've been waiting for so many years. I don't even know the last time that Williams has won constructors, and I'm not saying they will, but perhaps they can move themselves from 9th position in constructors to people are hoping to see them in 5th. Are they going to displace Aston Martin? Is the dark blue coming back and it says W and it doesn't have the Red Bull logo on it? Or maybe it might be a battle between the two. Who knows? Maybe Red Bull will be a letdown this year. That's another question, perhaps. Something that people have been wanting, especially since 2023, is to see a new drivers' champion. Maybe it'll be a rookie, maybe it'll be one of the experienced guys. Perhaps it's time for Alonso to finally get his third. He was so close so many times before, and he's been trying and he's not given up. Perhaps it's time for Lewis Hamilton to get his 8th after the shocking end to his 2021 season. Perhaps we will see Oscar Piastri emerge. Perhaps Lando Norris will go from 2nd to 1st in the drivers. Perhaps we'll see Charles do this. Maybe Carlos will do it in a Williams and change everybody's minds about the team. Maybe, God knows what might happen, maybe Sauber suddenly turns around and goes, actually, we're the best. You know, we're becoming Audi soon, but this is our last chance as Sauber to prove ourselves. I doubt it, but maybe not. Maybe we see Mercedes get back to their top spot. Maybe we'll see Liam Lawson prove himself and actually become the first seat driver out there in the 2nd seat. Maybe we see Behrman carry on the whole trajectory he had when he drove 3 times in a Formula 1 car last year, and we'll see him emerge and Haas will have the greatest result they've ever had. The team has been trying to get there since 2016, and maybe this is the time. Maybe all they needed is to have the tallest team in history, and the first time that they have a race engineer who is a woman. There are so many firsts in that team that perhaps another first is winning the championship. Who knows? But what we know for sure is that people want to see a new drivers' champion, because we get so bored after someone gets to win a few times in a row. You know, consecutive wins can be very boring. That doesn't mean that the driver that's winning it all the time is washed. It doesn't mean that they're bad. It actually means the opposite. It means that other people need to prove themselves more. Other drivers need to prove themselves. Teams need to prove themselves with their cars, with their strategies. We need to see something new and revolutionary. Last year was so exciting that we need to see it again. We need to see something that has potential to excite us, to invigorate us. We want this year to be even more exciting than 2024, and that's a lot to ask for, because 2024, just, you know, one surprise after the other, you turn around and suddenly, boom, a new driver on the track, or, oh, I don't know, so many new crashes this team has had that now everything's held on by gaffer tape. Who knows what's going to happen? But let's hope that there'll be a new drivers' champion, because we need it. We need it now. Now, I have mentioned this previously and earlier on, but Sauber, oh, Sauber. You maybe had potentials when you first started in the 90s. You've gone through many changes. You were BMW at one point. I think you were Peugeot at one point. You had Alfa Romeo. Now you're sponsored by a gambling site. You're soon to become Audi. This is your last chance under the Sauber name to prove yourself before maybe Audi will turn things around and suddenly this team will actually be at the very top. It'll be good to see. The last time that they won a race, a Sauber car won a race, was when my boy Robert Kubica won in Canada in 2008. 2008. The people who were born in 2008 have finished secondary school by now. They are now in college. They are thinking about university. And Sauber hasn't been anywhere near the top spot for so long. They need something, they need an injection of excitement and speed and good strategy. You know, the neon green just looks cool, but it's not helping, it's not speeding anything up. I don't know how a colour should, but it's about time that they had a good time, you know? And speaking of having a good time, Aston Martin is predicted that they might not have a good time either. The only thing that's keeping them together at the moment is Alonso and the hopes that Adrian Newey will use his Adrian Newey magic to make the team better, but because Red Bull wouldn't let him go for so long after he gave his resignation, that he couldn't work on the current car. And the current car, from what we've seen so far, is a bit disappointing. Some people are saying the best they could do is 9th in the Constructors by the end of the year. So, we can hope that Aston Martin proves us wrong, but right now the hopes aren't looking good. So how can they prove themselves? What can Newey do at this point in terms of his magic of knowing how a car can win a championship? Because he's done it so many times with world championships in drivers and constructors, but also, as we know, destructors as well from Perez. What can he do to save this team? Because they had a good 2023, a relatively decent 2023, because Alonso used his Alonso magic, and now we need that Newey magic to get them up. But will they? Can he? What can we do? Because the team doesn't want to listen to the idea that perhaps one driver should leave the sport, but he won't, because he is the child of the owner, and as a result he is just locked in there and he can't even leave, even if he's 120 years old and actually has been kicked the bucket many years earlier. He's still that Aston Martin driver. He's still driving for the team as a ghost. It's literally impossible to move him out of that place. What will it take to get Stroll out of there and give someone else a chance? An opportunity that not just forget genetics, forget your family tree, put someone with skill. So talking of skill, my boy Yuki Tsunoda. Oh my god, he has been let down by the Red Bull organization. He's been stuck in the junior team for 5 years, whereas Liam Lawson, he gets put on a travelator. He spends a couple of races at VCARB and suddenly, boom, senior team, be the next one, be opposite Max, see how you compare there. Whereas Yuki has been trying, and they are just not giving my boy a chance. Maybe he should be in Cadillac. Maybe he should be the second seat at Aston. Give him a chance to prove himself, because he needs to give up on this VCARB dream. And if it doesn't turn out that he can make it in the senior team of Red Bull, because he was a bit sweary in the beginning, sometimes he's a bit crash happy, but apparently changing that, growing up, doesn't do anything if you're not the golden child from the get-go. What will it take for Yuki to finally get what he deserves? He needs to receive what he's earned. He's tried so hard and nobody is giving him the opportunities that he deserves. Obviously he's very grateful that he's in Formula 1, but he's not given the car he deserves. He's not given the opportunity he deserves to show that he has potential, because he is let down, he is pushed aside. When will he be able to show that he deserves the best? His ultimate dream is to open a restaurant, but I think he should also consider another dream. It doesn't have to replace that dream, but another dream is to be given what he's worthy of, and that is everything in this world at this point. So Mercedes lineup at the moment is George Russell and Andrea Kimi Antonelli, but both of their contracts end at the end of the year. You know, Antonelli has only been given a year's contract, and George Russell, he's been there since 2022, and he has to really prove himself to carry on being there. You know, he had a great year last year for all that's worth. You know, the car wasn't there, but he was there. He won in Las Vegas, he won in Austria, he technically did win in Belgium until it got taken away from him. And from what Drive to Survive shows us is that, you know, he seems to be on the good side of Toto, so he should still be there. But will he still be there? Will Antonelli still be there? You know, he's the golden child of Toto at the moment, although George has been there and has been trying to be the star of the show for so long. Will we see Valtteri in one of these seats? Will he finally make his full comeback? You know, who knows? There's so much potential, but there's also so much bad potential. You know, Mercedes has been sort of flip-flopping about these couple of years ever since, you know, they haven't been at the very top in constructors and in drivers, you know, since 2021 with drivers and since 2022 with constructors. Who knows what can happen, but the team really needs to consider its lineup this year, because last year they only had to think about one seat. Now there's two seats. So, you know, the boys better buckle up. Now, speaking of Mercedes, will Valtteri get to drive this season? He's a reserve driver. Obviously, he has had many years experience of being a Formula One driver, but this year he is on the sidelines. He's doing all the media. He's showing off his hair, his beautiful, beautiful mullet. But will he get to drive? Will we see him on track, or will we just see him on the sidelines? Is he just a cheerleader for the team, or will, you know, maybe someone has a bad belly one day and can't drive, or maybe someone gets injured, or whatever might happen, you know, will he get a chance to show that he deserves a seat in Mercedes? Because he did so well in Mercedes. He's won quite a few races in his time at Mercedes. Yeah, he didn't do any of that in Sauber, but that's because that's Sauber. But Mercedes has potential. He gelled so well with the team when he was there from 2017 to 2021, and perhaps it's his chance to prove that, like, you know, you shouldn't have gotten rid of me when you did. So now, you know, will he get a chance to come back to Mercedes as a full-time driver? You know, who knows? Maybe he gets the chance to prove himself. Maybe he might just be the one who gives opinions through the simulator. Maybe he's the cheerleader, but we believe that we will once again see Valtteri in a Formula One car one day, whether it's with Mercedes, whether it's with Cadillac, whether it's with another team, maybe, but, you know, we have to hope that it might be relatively soon, because my boy can't wait for too long. Now, I know I sound a bit of a broken record, but also I want to clarify that I don't hate anyone in Red Bull, even though, you know, in my opinion, Yuki should have gotten the second seat at Red Bull. You know, Liam's not a bad driver, and this is his opportunity to prove himself. You know, he might be better than Max. That would be great to see, for someone to prove themselves against Max rather than just be put next to him, you know, as the little brother sort of example. Will Liam be able to cope with the pressure of being, you know, next to Max, knowing that he has won so many races, knowing he has won so many championships, knowing that he is a killer on the road, and Liam is relatively new to this, he's only done 11 races. Will he be able to put up with the pressure that so many tried and haven't really succeeded? I wouldn't say that they failed, because, you know, Albon is still in the sport, you know, Gasly's still in the sport, Perez might come back at some point. You know, it's difficult. this team puts their drivers on the edge unless they are Max Verstappen, because they, it will take a lot to let go of Max, but it's easy to get rid of anybody else. So maybe this is when we'll see this turnaround, and suddenly they'll be like, actually, Max, we want to get rid of you now. Go away. Let's put someone else in the seat. You've had it for long enough. Maybe it's a year of surprises, maybe it's a year of predictability, but at some point that seat has to be made vacant, right? You can't be in the sport forever. Speaking of which, he's about to become a dad. He's already a stepdad, and now he's becoming a father in the next couple of months. And, will fatherhood change him in terms of how good he is as a driver? Will it make no difference, and you'll just have, this fact of being an absolute amazing driver and being a great dad because he's proven himself to be a great stepdad, or as he calls himself, the bonus dad. Now he has, these two sides to himself, where he has his own child, but also, look at my trophies, look how many trophies I have, look at me, I'm the greatest. He wouldn't say that he's really humble, because Dutch people tend to be very humble, and I could never. But, will it change him, or will it just be same old, and just the added factor of, he's a dad now? Who knows? I know I've been saying that a lot, but beginning of the season, anything can happen. And now, finally, point 15, even though I didn't mention any other numbers previously apart from the intro. Who might not make it to the end of the year? Will we see any firings? Will we see someone have some sort of situation where they personally choose to leave the seat? Romain Grosjean, after his massive accident, as we famously know, if you've seen Drive to Survive, or if you've been to the F1 exhibition, he had a massive crash where his car fell apart, it caught fire. He's the man who walked out of fire, and he managed to walk his way to an ambulance because he didn't want to be transported any other way to the ambulance. He wanted to prove that he is strong enough. He wanted to prove that, it's not as bad as it seems. He does have burns on his hands as a permanent reminder. He's still a driver, but not in Formula One. That was the point where he decided, I'm done with this. I moved on to new pastures. Will we see another type of thing like that? Hopefully less dramatic, less brutal, less, scarring, less injury, just, creating. Will we see some moment where a driver just goes, actually, I don't want to carry on anymore. I need something different in my life. I need to move on. Or will the lineup stay the same? Will no drivers change? Will the teams just keep all the drivers as they are, and then be another 2023 to 2024 season where they, for the first time ever, never changed the lineups, and all of a sudden, every face is familiar because they've seen each other in the same positions the entire year, and suddenly you know what's going on, plus extra two faces because, oh my god, suddenly there's an 11th team. Who'd have thunk it? Oh my god. But yeah, we'll see what can happen. This year can make or break many careers. As we know, there are so many rookies now, and there are contracts ending, there are contracts being extended, there are people trying out teams, but they have long contracts, but who knows, at some point they might one side might quit, one side might let go of the other, or maybe all will stay the same and it will be a tame year. Maybe it'll be another year like 2023 where there's just one person winning every single time. Let's hope not. We need variety. We need this to be exciting. It looks like it will be, but will it? That's all to play for. So that concludes my podcast for this week, where I just ask so many questions, I get and I give zero answers. I just want people's opinions. I want to know if people agree with me, if people disagree with me. Do you have any more questions? We are just pulling these together and hoping that one day those questions will be answered, because right now it's too early to tell. But thank you for listening. Please check out all of my lovely fellow creators on Be The Change Media Network, and I will see you next weekend, where we will know the results of the first race and we'll be preparing for the second race in Shanghai. Let's go. Bye guys.